If you're an HVAC technician or even a salesperson, what do you need to know about buyers' playbooks and how they buy and why does it matter? This is an important question. I'm Scott Bell. I'm coming to you live for HVAC Technician Sales Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California. Man, oh man, do we got to talk about this type of buyer that is one of the ones that really causes problems for salespeople, and that is the info thief. And there is going to be a time where you meet with a buyer, you meet with a potential buyer, I should say, and at the end of the day, they're not really talking to you for any other reason. They already have somebody they want to do business with. They just want to confirm that that person is giving them the proper scope of work. They want to make sure that that person is doing everything that they're supposed to do. And I will give you some questions that you can modify for your industry, for your service, for your product, whatever you do. And it doesn't mean you're going to make the sale happen. It means you can go, oh, info thief. Info thief. The only thing they're here for is data. They're not ever planning on doing business with you. And so you need to know this. And what's going to happen is the person's going to come to you and say, hey, I really want to do the project this way. Okay. Whatever way that may be. And what you got to realize is that's somebody else's game plan. And so one question you could ask, and it doesn't mean you're going to get an answer, is, okay, cool. Where'd you come up with that game plan? Oh, well, I just did some research online. All right. They talked to somebody. I can think of a time that I went to this house and in my notes, it literally said, back in the day, family owns heating and air company. I'm like, why am I going? So I get there, I go over these conversations, I start having the conversations, I start digging in, after I've built rapport to try to figure out what the heck is going on here. And so I go in the backyard and the guy had a 3-ton unit and he starts asking me about, would you put a 4-ton unit in here? I'm like, not typically a weird question, but I got to figure out where this is coming from. So I ask him, I go, well, why would you consider putting a 4-ton unit? He go, oh, well, it's just bigger. And my BS meter goes off, right? I'm like, yeah. So I don't know. Let's say I roll price at 20 grand and, he comes back at me, how dare you? My wife's family will do it for 10. I'm like, dude, why am I here? Right? What he wanted to do was confirm that the wife's family was doing it right, which is totally weird. But that happens in your product, that happens in your service, and that person, they're just after you to extract your value and your knowledge. And this right here is why you should join my email publication. I will give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. And it happens everywhere. I got reached out to last week for a consulting gig. And the people wanted me to list out everything that I was going to do for them as a consultant. And the problem with that is I would be literally giving them data points after data points that they could go out and they could say, well, okay, I'm going to go do this on my own. All right, well, like I might have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. I know how this gig works, right? I see the punchline to the joke. So for you sticking around, I'm going to give you another question. Do you already have a preferred vendor for this project? Okay. So you may take this and you may modify it to fit your needs. But at the end of the day, you need to figure out if they already have somebody that they're working with. You could ask them, do you already have somebody you're working with on this project? Do you already have somebody that you would really like to have this work done by? You can modify this question in a million different ways, but the information thief may come back to you and they're like, yeah, but it's a possibility, right? It's a maybe. It's a maybe. And this maybe will drive you crazy because it's non-committal. Right. So I'm going to kind of combine two buyers and two playbooks here, but this one really comes up a lot with the person who's the info thief, is the maybes. It's the kind ofs. It's the lack of answers. It's the lack of visibility that you're going to get to have those conversations. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to ask those questions. Do you have a preferred vendor? Is there already somebody that you're working with? Is there already somebody who, at the end of the day, you would rather have them do this work than me? One of the questions you can ask is, am I just here to confirm a buying decision that you've already made? You can flat out ask that question and come up with it and say, am I just here to make sure that dude's scope of work matches my scope of work and that you're getting a good deal? And there's been times where people say yes. And I go, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being that you don't want me to do this and 10 being that you do want me to do this, where am I at? And like, if they don't come out and tell you like 7, 8, 9, 10, you're not getting that job. You're not getting that deal. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm going to save you a bunch of your life and a bunch of grief. You're not going to get that deal, right? They got what they wanted. They have no problem wasting your time. They don't believe that, you know, hey, that's okay. Right? I could think of about a year ago, my buddy Mitch called me and he was like, hey, Scott, I was at this guy's house and he wanted me to line out mini splits for him and all the product numbers and everything. And Mitch just flat out told him, he's like, I'm not building your scope of work, so you could just go do this on your own. However you want to say it is how you do it. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. And every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.